Okay, so I know that Radiohead fans can be insufferable. Of course, I know him, he's me. But for as much as they're talked about, I feel like they still have records that are underrepresented or not acknowledged enough. Now, you could point to something like Hail to the Thief or The King of Limbs, but I think we should talk about where it all started. Pablo Honey. My name is Josiah, and welcome to Bateman Bridge Music. Make sure to like and subscribe for videos that talk about music that matters. Pablo Honey is an alternative rock album released in 1993. The legendary rock band Radiohead went on to make back-to-back classics such as The Bends, OK Computer, and Kid A in the years right after, thus ushering in a new standard for what a rock band could be, sound like, and stand for. Because those next few releases struck such a chord with people, their debut was largely forgotten and panned outside of their early hit, Creep. Now, people will try to give good reasons for why this album sucks or isn't worth your time, but I feel like there's a lot of poser attitude being thrown around when it comes to the Pablo Honey debate. Is it really that bad, or are Radiohead's other albums just that good? If a different band had released this same album, I'm sure it would be looked on more favorably, but music fans act like it is one of the worst things ever recorded, and I don't understand the hate. Okay, personal reflection time. I grew up loving The Bends and OK Computer the most out of their albums, but because those were the ones I gravitated towards, I never really went backwards to discover Pablo Honey, and honestly resented the idea of listening to it because I thought Creep was supposed to be the only notable thing from it. 1993 was a cool time for music. Grunge was at a peak, but also moving forward. Britpop was starting to take over. Punk, pop punk, and indie rock were making more waves suddenly in the mainstream. Radiohead just plopped somewhere in the middle of that. Pablo Honey could have been seen as a great Britpop album if people would just separate it from the band's legacy. This brings up the bigger question in my mind about music. Should we discredit a band's good attempts if they only went on to stick better landings everywhere else? Sure, you can have favorites and preferences. I certainly do, and I'm not denying that. But I don't think that means you ignore something less popular just because most others say so. Now let's shift gears to talking about the actual album. Okay, first off, what is this album cover? I will admit that I believe a lot of people just see this 90s looking baby flower thing and run in the other direction because of that. You know what? That's okay. You'll learn that the 90s looking baby flower thing can't hurt you, at least not while you're awake. Some fans mention that it doesn't even sound like a Radiohead album. Bro, what does that even mean, dog? Is that little old Thomas Edward York I hear wailing in the background on that song? Yes, of course it is. Tom sounds like Tom, Johnny sounds like Johnny, and the other guys sound like, well, the other guys. Sorry, other guys, I forget about you sometimes. There are bangers on this album, slow builds, and incredible performances. The vocals especially are a high point. Everybody is quick to sing Tom's praises for his voice and lyrics, and this album should be no exception, honestly. He just gives so much to these songs and really raises them above the bar in many ways. While the whole album is really quite solid, I need to highlight a few favorite tracks. Okay, let's just get it over with. Creep needs to be addressed. It's the big one, it's the one that people know, but listen, this is a great song. The cha-chunk sound right before the chorus is one of the coolest things ever, and the fact that it was made to sabotage the song originally makes it even better to me. It's a self-loathing masterwork that deserves the praise. It's always been a little odd to see this song remain Radiohead's most popular track because I'm not sure it's the most accurate reflection of the band's sound and style, but it's great nonetheless, and you could do a lot worse as far as huge rock songs go. Okay, next I want to mention Thinking About You. Yeah, okay, some of the lyrics may be a little suspect if you take them a certain way, but this is such a sweet sounding track, and it really highlights Tom's earnestness, I think. This whole album does that, honestly. Like, he just sounds a lot more down to earth and approachable, and while still making meaningful and impactful music. The Bends has the same quality as well. These two records just feel very different from the rest of their discography, but in such a great way. Like, I could go on and on about the bends, but that's for another time. This song is so chill and has a sound that I don't really think they ever went back to, but it's really fun to hear. And it definitely would be looked at more highly if someone else made it, I think. All right, so the back half of this album is arguably stronger and is where a lot of the overlooked gems can be discovered. And I feel like I need to talk about the last 2 songs on this album specifically. So first, Liturgy, I think that's how you say it, sounds almost like, all right, don't hate me for this, just look at this with an open mind. It sounds more like a precursor to a lot of the more Midwest emo sounds that would flourish in the next few years. I don't know why, but something about certain guitar parts on this song give me that vibe, and like, that's a good thing. I like that. That's not to discredit the song whatsoever, but it's something that you'd think you would never hear in a Radiohead song, and it actually works quite well. Like, I can hear some almost kind of like American football-ish vibes in this, but it's cool. Let me know if I'm wrong. I just feel like I heard a specific thing when I was listening to it a couple days ago, and I was like, that totally sounds like something they would do. Okay, lastly, you've got the closer, Blowout. The song is so noisy, but not in a wasteful way. Everything about this song is about feel. The first half is a little soulful, actually, and then it just bursts into this My Bloody Valentine type crescendo, and it's a beautiful finish and makes me want to restart the album again, which is always a great sign of a great closing track. I'll be honest, Pablo Honey is weaker than many other Radiohead albums. I'm not going to act like it's my favorite thing ever, but I'm standing my ground on this hill that it's far better than people act like it is. I'm tired of the Pablo Honey hate, and I want to see some appreciation and respect for this debut. If this is your favorite Radiohead album, please let me know in the comments, because I want to surround myself with open-minded individuals such as yourself. Also, if that's true, I hope you live in a safe area where the angry stans can't find you and force you to listen to blip-blop noises on loop while Tom is crying in the background. Anyways, go revisit Pablo Honey or listen to it for the first time and form your own opinion. Feel free to let me know how wrong I am in the comments. I'm sure that somebody will try to. Also, once I get 1,000 subscribers on this channel, I will give whoever has the top comment on this video a free copy of this record as a way of saying thanks. This is my first video on YouTube, and honestly, what the heck am I doing here? I don't belong here. Okay, all right, bye.